All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 283 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am Via Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. We just chugging right along, right closer to 300. Happy Thursday to everyone. Hopefully, you guys, your morning has started off right. As for me, I'm doing okay. I cannot complain. And we talked about some Atlanta Falcons stuff yesterday. We talked about the draft. We're going to continue with more Atlanta Falcons stuff because today, we're going to talk about Arthur Smith addressing Calvin Ridley, his situation, or the lack thereof information of his situation. And I'm going to give you my thoughts about that. Also, Georgia Southern, we're going to finish off with Georgia Southern's "We Need You" statement. What does that mean for the football program, the athletic department, and everyone as far as fans, alumni, and supporters? What does that mean? And what direction should that go as far as, what they're trying to accomplish? So it is a lot to unpack today. But I think it's something that, not much that we can't break down and discuss. So hopefully you guys will hang around for the entire episode. That will be great. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're on the YouTube side, this is where I mainly do the visual or the video side of the podcast. And if this is your first time here, once again, hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you're on the podcast side and if this is your first time here, just go ahead and give me a 5-star rating, because I think I'm going to do a pretty good job as far as giving you this information and my thoughts. Also, subscribe as well, because once you subscribe, you can get these uploads as soon as I put them up on the podcast avenue. And I think some of these podcast avenues have a tab to where you can have the episode automatically download for you as soon as it's available. So it's very convenient either way. Also, double back to the YouTube side of things. Hit that notification bell so you will be notified whenever I put up any content on this channel. Last but not least, if you want to, if you like the content, if you really like what I'm doing over here, down in the description, there's 2 ways to donate. One, you can donate through the Anchor link down in the description. Also, I have a Cash App name down there as well. It's VF Baller 20. You can donate either way, one time or a monthly donation. That will help big time. Either way, I'm just glad you're here. I really appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Episode 283, we're going to talk about Arthur Blank. He addresses Calvin Ridley. We all know what's going on with Calvin Ridley. We all know what has happened with that situation. After his 5th game, he decided to step back from the game for the rest of the year, citing mental health. Not many people has talked to him, don't know what is going on with that situation. And we're just all trying to figure out, is he okay? For the most part, I think he's okay. I want to say he is, because he did attend a couple of outings that we've seen since. So, but like I said, at the end of the day, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You don't know what happened when people, are not on social media for the most part. Hell, you don't even know how people are when they leave from work sometimes. Some people could be a total mess when they're at home or when they're away from, the job. But when you see them at work, they put a smile on their face. Those are some strong individuals. I don't know what's going on with Calvin Ridley. I don't think anybody knows for the most part. But Arthur Smith did address the situation, and it's kind of telling, because even the owner, don't know what's going on with Calvin Ridley. The coaches tried to figure out, the media is trying to figure out. There's really been no statement or anything, and I'm going to address the statement that Arthur Blank put out, because he doesn't really know as much as well. Basically, in the statement. Basically, the statement that he put out, you can find the statement all over the internet. I'm sorry, all over the internets, because it's in various articles that's been put out. But I'm going to quote what he said. He said, Arthur Blank said, "We love the young man. He has had a great history in Atlanta. We love him to stay in Atlanta. Whether or not he wants to do that, he may decide he wants a fresh start someplace else. We don't know that. I don't know that. I don't have information to indicate that, but we'll see how that plays out." So I'm going to stop right there real quick. That just shows you, like I said, Arthur Smith don't even know. I don't know who he talked to. If he talked to anybody, any representatives that's been out here talking on his behalf, nobody knows. So it's really weird at the end of the day, because I mean, there's a lot of speculation, people saying that he's hiding behind mental health. I hope that's not the case, because mental health is a really serious issue, and people who really deal with mental health go through a lot of stuff. I mean, there's like stuff that you don't see that they go through. And I know with this day and age, a lot of people do cite mental health on some of the, I don't want to say this the wrong way. There's been stories of people citing mental health on some of the smallest things, or some people have been accused of citing mental health to get out of certain things. And I hope this is not the case, because, people that really deal with this, they really deal with this. And I just hope that's, like I said, I think I said it before, I hope that's not the case. But nevertheless, let's continue. Arthur Blank said, we've been totally supportive in every way that we can be, both emotionally and financially, in working with him as well as his agent. We'll see. But I'm mostly concerned about him as a human being. Yeah, I think that's at the end of the day. I mean, if you're really dealing with these issues, football is secondary. Football is, not even second, probably way on the back burner. You probably don't even think about it. Because when you're dealing with stuff like this, football is not a concern right now. We need to worry about if you're okay, because there's been stories of other celebrities, other people out here, which is way beyond the scope of this podcast, where people have been dealing with stuff behind closed doors and couldn't find out they've committed suicide, days later or weeks later. What was that? I think it was that lady. Like I said, it's beyond my scope, and I don't even know the name of the lady. But some lady jumped off of a building. I think it was like a 60-story building, and she jumped off of. I mean, she was a prominent figure. If I'm not mistaken, I think she was Miss USA or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to go that far, but it just comes to find out she's been dealing with mental health issues. So, like I said, it's a really big deal when you deal with or handle things with mental health aspects to it. So, I just don't know how that really. And like, how as a person that you have employed, how do you deal with something like that, who are citing that they have, issues with them in themselves? You just basically just have to do what they do. They've just been supportive, in with working with him and his agent. I just don't know what else you do. But at the end of the day, I talked about this a few episodes ago. That's $11 million on the cap space. I don't see why at this point you just go ahead and just, move him to another team. This is the second year that we had to deal with this, where a wide receiver just say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. Basically, I don't want to, I don't want to put on that uniform anymore. And I don't know what it is. It's like, I don't see, people will talk about the Falcons. I mean, look at the number of the episode, 283. So you already know what time it is, 28-3. That's like still the running joke of, Saints fans, because the Patriots don't care. But nevertheless, everybody talks about us when it comes to winning and losing games. But as far as a franchise, I think this franchise has done very well behind Arthur Blank. I think Arthur Blank has done a pretty good job of running this organization. I mean, ever since he's been here, I mean, he has, for the most part, had he put people in place to have somewhat of a winning culture. I mean, even with, the old coach Smitty, he did what he could do. And then, we turned back around and, we had a couple of years, and then we had Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn did what he could till he can't. Now we have Arthur Smith. We've had some success, NFC Championship, Super Bowl, winning season, finally had a back-to-back winning season. So since, Arthur Blank has been around, it's been somewhat of a winning culture here. It's just that the games that we lose are we lose games in the worst way, basically. But for the most part, the organization itself, I feel like it's been ran pretty well. I think Arthur Blank has done a pretty good job. He's one of the most classiest, class act owners in the league, and he's always on the front line when it comes to social issues. He doesn't do much, but he says the right things. Like with the situation with the whole, black coach thing. I mean, he doesn't really put himself out there, but he says the right things at the right time. And he just goes on about his business, which is very, I think, which is very, very good, as an owner, because you don't want them to be in the limelight, like Jerry Jones, but you don't want them to be all the way back all the way back in the behind the scenes where you don't know nothing about them. I mean, we didn't hear much about this, the owner of the Dolphins until the scandal came up. But you don't want them to be all the way up in the limelight, but still, I mean, even way back, I know some people may even talk about this, even back in the Michael Vick days, we were trying to make a winning culture, and, Arthur Blank was a part of that, and he done, and I feel like at the end of the day, he done right by circling back and bringing Michael Vick back into the Atlanta Falcons ring. I think that was pretty cool. But at the end of the day, what do you do with this? I mean, I think Arthur Blank is going to step back and let Terry Fontenot and company do what they do, and I think for the most part, I think these guys are going to get it right, not only just with Calvin Ridley, but with the rest of this team. I think what they've done in the first year has been, nothing short of amazing. With the team that we had, basically didn't have any receivers. Calvin Ridley basically, stepped away from the game, and we ended up winning 7 games, which, in all honestly, we should have won about 3. We should have won like 2, because I know somebody said this, like the Falcons had the best. We were the best bad team, or we were the best worst team in the NFL. So it's pretty cool. But I think we're going to be able to make some moves and make some changes to flip that. I think those 7 wins, we have a really good chance to turn that into 10, maybe 11, maybe 12. I mean, I think this division is in a really good spot for the Falcons to take, and they just have to capitalize on it. So at the end of the day, I think Calvin Ridley should just go ahead. I think they should just go ahead and trade him. I'm not against that. I already talked about that on various episodes of this show, and I showed you examples and reasoning behind it. He's on the tap for $11 million, and whether you cut him or trade him, that's $11 million that's freed. And there's no dead money situation like it was with Julio Jones, and it's just much easier to do so. You just don't know if he comes back, he may do this again. Then that's another $11 million that you basically just handing to him, and he's not producing. He's not playing football for you. So I really feel that just go ahead and move on with him and let him go somewhere. Maybe he'll flourish. Maybe he'll play for the other team. It would be a really bad look if he does go to another team and pull this again. That'd be pretty crazy. We'll see. We'll probably move into another AFC team, just like the Julio Jones situation. But we'll see. Shout out to Arthur Blank being a class act. Hopefully, and also hopefully Calvin Ridley, overcomes whatever he's going through, because mental health is no joke. And that'll be hopefully it just turns out to a good story ending for everybody. Whether you are, the Falcons trying to move on and make and turn this into a prominent franchise that is used to winning again, because we have 4 losing seasons, so or we turn around and or Calvin really goes somewhere and he's be able to flourish as a football player. So that'd be all. Either way, that'd be awesome. All right, let's go ahead and jump to the next topic. If you like this content, like I said, hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel. If you like this podcast, go ahead and give me 4 stars, 5 stars on the star rating, and subscribe to the podcast. I really appreciate it if you like this content. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the Georgia Southern football "We Need You" statement. What does this mean? Hashtag we need you. We saw this all over the Twitter space. If you have been following Georgia Southern football, or you may have seen it trending. I'm not really sure. I don't follow and see what is trending on Twitter, but a lot of people talking about this and what does this mean. The we need you statement. Basically, it is trying to find a way to change the course of Georgia Southern athletics based on what they said on the ticketing website of Georgia Southern, gseagles.com. This is a really big deal, because things are changing over here at Georgia Southern. Basically, we are put in place for definitely a winning culture in all aspects of athletics, even going into the rifle team and the tennis team. Basketball is trying to do some things. Great job that Coach A.G. Howard is doing with the women's basketball team. Good job. Brian Berg is still trying to find his pieces that whatever he can put together for the men's basketball team. Like I said, the rifle team, the tennis team is doing pretty well. The men's golf is doing great. I saw them do some good things last year. I think they won the Sun Belt, I think. So it is athletics in general is doing good. But right now, with football season is start to take off with spring practice, there was time to put this out here. The we need you statement, basically evaluating on ticketing and parking, how things are going to change. I'm not going to get too far into this because I'm not going to say I'm going to get too far into the statement, because the statement can be a little confusing. I'm going to be honest. I was reading this over and over again with the whole ticketing modernization and the pricing and the parking selection. I was kind of confused at reading the statement on the website. I know some people may understand it. They understand it better than I do. But I want to give you somewhat of a breakdown in, layman's terms, because I was looking at it and I'm like, I'm looking at the changes. I'm looking at the affordable pricing or whatever the case may be for people who are doing seasonal or season tickets or seasonal parking. And I kind of got it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I really didn't understand it. So I went to other websites to try to figure this out. So I went to Yahoo News, where Nathan Dominance from Savannah Morning News basically broke it down, and it makes sense. So I'll have that link in the description so you can check it out. And basically, this is what it says. I'm going to read it for the most part, not verbatim, but I'm going to read most of it. There are going to be a lot of renovations and facilities. It's going to be changing. We're going to have an indoor facility. They're going to be doing the Jack and Ruth Ann Hill Convocation Center. They're going to be changing some things there. So, they basically, Georgia Southern announced changes to ticket pricing, seating, and parking at Paulson Stadium. They call it modernization. The changes in parking, for example, are necessitated by the construction of the indoor practice facility, like I said, neighboring Paulson Stadium. The indoor practice facility, which will be used by multiple Eagle programs, will reduce available parking. So there's going to be less parking. They're losing about 540 parking spots on the water tower side of the main grass parking lot. So like I said, that it was explained more on the website, the gseagles.com ticketing website, which it was explained to me. Personally, I don't think it was explained well on the website. That's why I'm over here on the Yahoo News side. Like I said, I'll put the link down in the description so you guys can see it, or you can look into it. While designs, documents, and budgets are being finalized, we expect to bring us some additional parking back online. Obviously, I feel like they'll be able to give more parking back the following season in 2023. I can see that, because once the construction is going, all that stuff's going to be taken out, and there's going to be other ways to have better parking. So I definitely could see that. All parkings for 2022 football season will be reallocated based on priority point ranking. No parking spot locations are guaranteed from previous seasons, even if the construction does not affect the ticket holder spot. Now, I don't like that. I kind of understand it, but I don't like that, because if you hold, if you're paying for this, you would think that it'd be guaranteed. I think that's not cool. Now, me personally, every time when I go to a game, we basically park away and we drive. We take the bus to the stadium, or I don't know if they still do this. I know we've done this in the past, but we didn't do this last season. We'll get a parking space like at the bar across the street or somewhere close to the stadium, we'll pay the extra parking. I know in some cases they've been charging $20-$25, which I don't mind. Pay that and walk across the street to Paulson Stadium. I've done that. Me and my wife, we've done that a couple of times when we went to the game. So I'm not, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not really tripping too much on that because it doesn't affect me too much. But people who are paying for this, that's kind of not cool. There are also going to be upgrades to premium seating, Eagle Club, Section D, first 4 rows of double K, double L, and double M. Which improved the game day experience for all fans around the stadium. That's pretty cool. Now I'm all for the upgrades because I love the seating, and sometimes I just don't really like the sitting at the on the old bleachers, which I'm okay with it because I'm standing up half the time. But my wife is hit and miss. Some days she's cool with it. Some games she's like, I don't want to sit on them. So I get it. But for us, if we do get some seats in KK, LL, or MM, that'd be pretty cool. Price points on tickets. I think tickets are going up a bit. There are 13 different ticket options now. Cost range from totals of $80 to $975 for Eagle Club seating when combining per seat contribution and the season ticket price. So I'm not sure if this is per game or whatever. I have to go back and look. I'm not sure if it's per game or whatever because most of the stuff here is basically for season tickets for the most part. Per game, I usually get a pretty decent price on certain games, but it says seat contribution. I'm looking here, C&E $80. That sounds about right because that's usually what around the price I usually pay anyway. So I usually try to get seats between C and E. For the most part, I don't like to sit on the visitor side. So, usually I just try to get seats over there. So C and E around that side, that's pretty much season ticket price is $145. Okay. And the total cost per seat. So I get it. So that's going to be really pretty much average where it usually is going up a little bit. So that's not too bad. Per seat contribution is a minimum amount required to the Georgia Southern Athletic Foundation to purchase ticket in a designated section. Our previous system was a mixture of bulk seat per seating prices. That was less advantageous for those purchasing fewer seats. For example, in the past, minimum contribution was required in each section whether you had 1, 2, 3, or 4 seats, and then it turned to a per seat model for anyone with more than 4 seats. Our new model fully transitions us into a per seat model, which is easier to understand and fair for everyone. Okay, so all right, I get that. So I'm not gonna go too much further into that. For the most part, I get what they're saying, and they're basically trying to simplify bulk seating for people. And there's going to be, I guess it's a slight uptick in prices. So I get it. I think right now, these figures that they're trying to put out, they're in the pricing, they're saying they put us in 10th out of 14 schools that Sun Belt expands its membership. So they're still not really up there in the price as far as the rest of them. So that's actually pretty impressive. I'm going to say this before I close. Basically, a lot of people are not really, happy with the prices. I've seen on Twitter, a lot of people are basically saying that the prices are going up and they have to pay a lot more. I'm going to tell you this. This is not on the fans per se. Georgia Southern, what Coach Helton is doing, football is king at Georgia Southern. Now, I talked about all the other athletics and they're doing good, but coach, this is on the coach. This is a really big deal on Coach Helton. And I'll say this, the football program is going to have to win. They're going to have to win like now because to justify these prices, because most the attendance at Georgia Southern games have been down because we've been losing. And coming off of a 3-9 season and bringing this to the forefront, you're going to have to win now. And there's a lot of pressure on Coach Helton and his staff. Now, they put together a great staff. They've been recruiting very, very well. But money can be an issue for people. I don't mind, going to a few games. I would like to be a season ticket holder and go to every game. But unfortunately, even with me doing this podcast, I do have a second job and I work on some Saturdays. I've made a call to 1-800-GSU-WINS to look into this type of ticketing, and they have ticketing for, you know, certain games you want to go to, and I'm going to go. You know, the Ball State game I'm going to be to. You know, I'm going to be there. The Appalachian State game, I'm going to try to get to that as well. There are some away games I want to go to as well. The UAB game is one of them. The Georgia State game is there. So I'm trying to go at least 4 games. And I get it. You know, I want my money to be well spent. I don't want to go. I'm just going to be putting it out here like this, like straight up. I don't want to go to a game and see another Gardner-Webb game. I don't want to go to those type of games. I want us to be competitive in the games that we should be competitive in, like, you know, our Sun Belt counterparts. And I want us to blow out teams like a Gardner-Webb. There's no reason why that game should have played out the way it played. But, like I said, that was a whole different regime, and I get it. I get what was going on. But coming up for 3-9 season, this is a tall task for Jared Benko. Now, I don't get me wrong. I trust Jared Benko. I love what he's been doing since day one, since he walked in the door. Unfortunately, Chad Lunsford was not his guy, and this is one of the things that I thought about when the whole thing went down last year. I was like, okay, wait a minute. This is not Jared Benko's coach. It's not the guy that he I ain't gonna say that he wants, but you gotta understand, there's not much of attachment to him. Jared Benko brought his guy in. You know, he bought, you know, the basketball coach. He brought him in. I'm not sure if Coach Howard was here before or after Jared Benko, but she's doing a phenomenal job. The baseball team's always been good. So I'm not, you know, I don't even need to talk about the baseball team. You know, they're second to win they're second in the Sun Belt, which they're projected to be second in the Sun Belt, which is pretty good, but I think they can win the Sun Belt, you know, so hopefully. So he's done a really good job. But, you know, when you have total expenses, which is also pretty good, it's in the middle of the road, $29.5 million, which is 7th in the Sun Belt from 2019 to 2020, and it goes down to 28.9, which, you know, 2021 was a weird year because of the virus. But I think he's done a pretty good job, you know, with budgeting and all this other stuff. But when you want to raise prices and don't give people guaranteed places to actual park, and you want us to come out and support this football team, there's a lot riding on Coach Helton. Now with what he's done so far, do I think he can he step up and make it happen? Of course. I think he can. I think the Sun Belt and what he's done is pretty much his to take. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, the fall off of Coastal Carolina a little bit, you know, I think they're still going to be prominent. Appalachian State is always going to be a foe that we're going to have to deal with. I think this is the year that Georgia State is finally going to feel the wrath of Georgia Southern. I don't think that, you know, we're not going to be sitting here and look at them as a little brother or taking them for granted. I think we're going to play them seriously. And with the talent we have, I think it's going to be one of them situations where we basically going to have like a 38-10, you know, type of game. Like that game they had in Paulson where their quarterback, Ellington, was trying his best to play on one leg, which he should not have, but it wouldn't have made a difference anyway. Our team was just too good that year. So, I think it's going to be one of those situations again, and we should be one of the top teams in the Sun Belt. We should be. And with prices like this, we need to be, because winning will cure all of this. Winning will cure all of this going on. So if we could get to the point where we're winning games, all of these prices won't matter because people are going to come to watch a winning program. So we'll see how that plays out. And I'm still kind of worried about the parking situation, but the ticketing, I don't necessarily have a problem with the tickets going up per se, because if I want to watch football, I'm going to watch football. If I want to go to a game, I'm going to go to a game. So like I said, I'm trying to go to the Ball State game, Appalachian State game. I'm trying to go down I-20 because I live like not too far off from I-20. Go straight down there to watch the UAB game and go back down to I-20 and go to Turner Field and sit in the baseball stands, and watch the baseball field, watch us play football on a baseball field against the Georgia State Panthers. So I think that's going to pretty much conclude. That's going to be the end of this show. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed this this show. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. I am VF Baller. Like I said, over here we talk about Georgia Southern. We also talk about Atlanta Falcons football. If you guys like this content, hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Same thing on the podcast side. Give me 5 stars. I think I did a pretty good job today. Hopefully you agree. And give me 5 stars on the Apple iTunes avenue. Also subscribe to the podcast where you can continuously get this type of content. Georgia Southern, Atlanta Falcons football. Also, if you really, really like the content, give me a small donation, whether through my Cash App, VF Baller 20, or you could hit the Anchor link down there in the description as well. Give me a donation, whether it be single or monthly. I think they do single donations over there on that avenue as well. I'm not sure, but nevertheless, I'm about to get up out of here. Thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. I will be back tomorrow to wrap up the rest of the week. Hopefully we have another couple of good topics to talk about, and I'll see you guys then. You guys be good. You guys be easy. You guys be blessed. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right, y'all. Peace.